Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in this bright, wonderful world we call home. I know some people hate my intro, but I got nothing better. My name is Mike Miller. This is Cross Examinations Live, episode 51, I believe, if I am counting correctly. 51. Oh, we're getting up there. Imagine when we're at 100. Good afternoon, Daterchip. I hope you are having a wonderful afternoon. It is just past 12 here, 12:20. I have so much to do today. There's so much to do, so little time. I'm going to need the blessings and the aid of the Lord God Almighty. Finally on time. Uh-oh, crud. Why do I have to get important emails right when I start this? Email to analysis. We get everything. I suggest you get everything. Quality by mails. I need. Shoot. Sorry. I know I hate to say business first. This is our fellowship time, but I'll give you an extra minute at the end. Plus, there's only 18 people in here. If you guys could do me the great honor of liking, hitting that share button, dropping it into some sort of social media or private message or something that might actually garner more people dropping in here to say hello, enjoy this fellowship, and ask each other questions and have a nice dialogue. Join us live. Posting to Facebook now. All right. Crud! I just closed out my one. It's like I'm a Luddite or something. I don't understand how the technologies work. What's wrong with my brains? All right, back to my page, my channel. The APA hates men. I'm not going to jump right into that. Let's go through the commentary. We'll pray for your email. Thank you. Hey, you got your phone notification. Fantastic, Catholic Rob. Good to see you. Jay, P Money, McGee, Raven, Sean, Dater, it's me, Boomer. I am, admittedly. I'm 47 years old, man. My dad tried to get me into computers and learn all this stuff as a kid. My dad was a pioneer in the computer industry. And he tried to get me into computers. But I like to draws. So I drew. And he never, till the day he died, he didn't think I could make a living as an artist. Glad you like mine best, Rob. Why don't we go ahead? I'm going to hold off on the comments, and I'm going to go to the comments. Comments from yesterday. P Money, since you're here, I'm going to start with you. Hi, Mike. Hey, Mike. Hope you get to that 4K today. I did. I am like at 420 now. Pretty cool. I am struggling on both sides about your talk on the parents raising their kid transgender. There are those who would say raising my kid Christian is child abuse. Preaching them scripture like Leviticus is child abuse to some people. Even if I don't agree with them raising their kid transgender, is it any different for me to call their child raising abuse as it is for them to call my child raising abuse? Keep up the great work. Well, it depends on if there is a thing called truth and if there is a thing called God. And just, I mean, biologically and culturally, we know that people who are transgender forget everyone trying to accept it and make it normal and be just accepting and tolerant and all of this stuff. It's never going to happen. All right? You're going to have people always. It is unnatural. I'm sorry. It is unnatural. And people have an unnatural reaction to it. Well, no. People have a natural reaction to the unnatural, right? It is you are forcing a false morality on people to force them to tolerate, accept, approve of unnatural proclivities. Whether that is politically correct or not, and I know it's not, facts don't care about your feelings, okay? Raising your child to believe in an objective source of right and wrong, an objective source of morality and ethics. Anyone who thinks that is child abuse is themselves deluded. So they're what do they want? They want you to raise your children to believe in nothing, to believe that morality is objective. Somebody here, or is the cat breaking things? Hold on a second. Nah, I think the cat's breaking things. So yeah, there is a difference. There is a difference. WK answers it thusly. I would say the difference is that those parents are raising their kid in a way that will literally harm them by causing psychological damage lasting well into adulthood. Plus, it pushes the kid toward a lifestyle that comes with a 40% chance of suicide. What parent would want that for their child? That is correct. That is absolutely correct. It is not only, there's a good chance not only that they're going to kill themselves, they're almost definitely going to try to kill themselves, right? They are going to mutilate their bodies irreparably, sterilizing them, even if they change their mind later in life, which, there are transgenders who do. There's transgenders who live decades as the wrong sex and then realize that they've been living a lie, a delusion, and change back. But they're sterile. You can't get your reproductive organs back once you remove them. So, yeah, boy. So no, it's quite a difference. Quite a difference. Demon Vizrak. I know that the religious basis of society is the foundation to the teachings of morality and ethics, in turn creating the laws we are governed by. But in my thinking on the religious base, I want to pose the situation that if society didn't have this base as social grouping of animals, we would see bad behavior and stamp it out. Where do you see bad behavior being stamped out in the animal kingdom? When a male lion takes over a pride, he eats the children of the previous male lion, who I would consider that bad behavior. Dolphins rape each other. Trying to think of other male species of every kind beat each other up to get the chick. So yeah, it creates a hierarchy of power, a hierarchy of stamina, genetic dominance. But is that what you want? Because that's what Hitler was trying to do. Didn't work out so great. So I would not jump to the wild kingdom for an understanding. He continues. Social isolation, and in severe cases, get rid of it outright. If it is harmful, example, apes have no religion and are very similar to us. No, they're not. They have no sense of morality. They have no conscience. They have no greater societal ethics or morals, right? They just eat, sleep, fornicate, poop, and eat lice off of each other. And can govern themselves. Humanity, being more intelligent, would have a much better system seeing the advantages of building a society with rules. It's an interesting hypothetical, fun to think about. What are your thoughts on it, Mike? Great stream. Congrats on the 4K, and I hope you keep growing as you have good, thought-provoking channel and a great day. Signing off, a friendly atheist. I'm glad you're here, Demon. It's a fun question. It's a good question. The problem is history. We have had cultures, large, vast, powerful cultures, that would do things like crucify people, that would stick infants on spikes. I'm thinking about the Ottoman Empire, but also even the Catholic, some of the Catholic Crusaders did this as well, which means that there was a point in time when life just the value we have for life just hadn't. It's never been as strong as it is today, except for unborn life, which people don't care, apparently. Other than unborn life, people generally have a very high value of life today, which is unprecedented, I'm pretty sure, in all of humanity. Because, I mean, there were cultures that routinely sacrificed children for a better harvest. The Aztecs, the pinnacle of technology and culture in Central America, would capture neighboring tribes peoples and sacrifice them in the thousands for a better harvest. Even today, in an abhorrent cultural norm in parts of Africa, it's sort of a rite of passage for teenage boys to rape infants. There are cultures and religions, obviously, that do abhorrent things in the name of their religion. Thankfully, most religions don't do that kind of crap. But like I said, the problem with your theory is that you have to look at all of history and see what a freaking crap storm of immorality, of violence, of treating women as cattle, treating others, any others, as slaves and inhuman. The entire history of the human race is replete with moral and ethical decay and degradation, as opposed to what we've managed to cobble together, really, really probably just in the last 500-600 years. And most especially the past 200 or 300 years. It's a big difference. It is a big difference. Vasco Zuzuz says, I know it's out of context, but one of the verses you read said, God is not the author of confusion. It is out of context. I've read your question already. And this brought to mind the confusing the tongues of the men at the Tower of Babel. I always wonder when there are points of contention in which men fail to come to an understanding if the communication fails as a result of the Babel confusion, and the crux of our societal disorder is a point of edification God wants to bring to our spirits. What do you think about God being or not being the author of confusion in this light? Yeah, it is in the context, God is not the author of confusion is talking about being clear about doctrine and discipleship and all of the things you're learning about Christ and Messiah and truth and all that stuff. The point of creating confusion at the Tower of Babel was a very specific instance in time as a punishment for mankind refusing to do what God told them to, which was go repopulate all of the earth, right? Spread out, basically. They were all cobbled together, probably right near where the ark was, not too far from the ark. And they wouldn't leave. And they were like, oh, hey, everyone can speak the same language. Everyone understands each other. Why don't we, it says it was made to reach the heavens. I don't know if that just meant they were building a giant ziggurat or if they were building a flippin' spaceship. I don't know what the heck it was. But God didn't approve of them refusing to spread out and repopulate the earth. So therefore struck them all with confusion. No one could understand each other. And then they all took off. You know this. I'm just repeating what you already know. But I think that was a specific punishment for a specific crime, not a general principle. Super Crusader, masculinity and femininity. Oh gosh, we should come back to that. No, actually, I'll do all three of these. Masculinity and femininity are built into the core of who we are as human beings. They are gifts to be embraced, not burdens to be shed, archaic societal constructs to be dismantled, or loathsome urges to be suppressed. Likewise, marriage is not outdated, obsolete, or open to interpretation. In the joining of the masculine and the feminine, both are made complete. We enhance each other's strengths, negate each other's weaknesses, and more accurately reflect the image and character of God. Maxwell Miller says, the deviance of man trying to improve morality. Doug's latest video on DC's Jesus comic is that in itself. These idiots thinking Jesus got it wrong and have something to learn. You know, Maxwell, I actually did a video on that a week or two ago. You might want to go back and check that out too. Super Crusader again. And this is the last comment. What was the role of the average male parishioner in the early church? I've attended churches where parishioners were expected to remain silent during the service. Not saying this is the case, not at all, as I am admittedly not knowledgeable in this area. But is it possible that the admonishment for women to remain silent was in part an expectation that they simply did not behave the same as male parishioners? I hope that makes sense. I'm very sleepy and heavily medicated with a chest infection. I hope your chest infection gets better, Super Crusader. It is entirely possible. That is entirely possible. Like I said in the other stream, women weren't allowed in synagogue. Today at Orthodox churches, at least the one my wife has gone to, the men and women are seated separately, which I think is at least better than it was back in the day. But back in the day, the men were allowed in. The women were not. I think the women were just like in another room or something like that. I don't remember. But yeah, that would mean that they would come in and they would not know how to behave properly. And that could have simply as been what you're suggesting. But I can't say for absolute sure. Let me jump over, since we are talking about the masculine and the feminine now, to the topic of the day. The APA hates men. We have 50 viewers now. If you guys want to go ahead and share this out, and let's see if we can get some more people in here before I get too controversial. So where is there it is. All right. Sharing screen in 3, 2, 1. American Psychological Association unloads on harmful traditional masculinity by David Creighton. The American Psychological Association publicly released its first ever guidelines for practice with men and boys, in which traditional masculinity is deemed as harmful and just too masculine. As the extensive APA report reads, traditional masculinity is not only bad for men, but it is an ideology that can feed homophobia and cause sexual harassment. The report was actually issued internally last August, but has only been released to the public this week. The report defines traditional masculinity as an attitude that is marked by stoicism, competitiveness, dominance and aggression, on the whole, harmful. The APA insists traditional masculinity is psychologically harmful, and that socializing boys to suppress their emotions causes damage that echoes both inwardly and outwardly. But it's more than just a state of mind, as masculine ideology is characterized by a particular constellation of standards that have held sway over large segments of the population, including anti-femininity, achievement, God forbid we try to achieve something in life. What is wrong with these people? Eschewal of the appearance of weakness. Because don't you just think it's better to look weak? And adventure, risk, and violence. Who would want to have an adventure for a life? Take any risks? Or, engage in some fun brotherly violence. The APA suggests boys who are too masculine will spend their life harassing girls, getting into fights and picking on perceived effeminate peers instead of getting good grades in school. In its condemnation of men acting like traditional men, read that, men. The APA is reflecting attitudes in academia where universities like Duke U have enlisted male students to root out toxic masculinity on campus. In an article on the APA website discussing the research paper, Stephanie Papas, oh, poor girl, has Papas for her last name, acknowledges that it is difficult to argue with male success. Ya think? Men still dominate professionally and politically. As of 2018, 95.2% of chief operating officers at Fortune 500 companies were men, according to a 2017 analysis by Fortune. In 16 of the top companies, 80% of all high-ranking executives were male. Meanwhile, the 115th Congress, which began in 2017, was 81% male. Is it possible it had something to do with that sense of achievement and adventure and risk and not wanting to appear weak? What is wrong with these people? Oh my goodness. What is wrong with these people? Honestly, honest to God. Lord Jesus, help me understand what is wrong with these mentally deranged people that run the American Psychological Association. Oh, kill me now. Mike has a better soy voice than EBS. And then at the same time, these deluded people are trying to turn women into men. What do you do with that? I don't even know where to go with this. This is the APA, supposedly one of the highest, an association of psychologists from the entire nation. These are supposed to be scientists. Scientists, right? Not ideologues. Yeah. So this is an attack on men and women having natural and God-defined roles. It's the same argument that they're just tracking it from a different angle now. First it was women's rights. And then we know how that ended up with men in the bathroom with little girls. We followed that rabbit trail. And now the maps. Bad maps. I'm the map. All right. APA is clearly staffed, Cappy Stark says, by or has succumbed to the bullying of SJWs. We are equal but different. We should embrace and celebrate the differences. That is correct. Imagine a society where no one bothers to take risks or try to achieve things or to build or challenge or compete. Well, I mean, I guess you could just look at Europe. I have an opinion on all this, says Chris Energetics. The people who buy into this are all equating stress with gender and behavior traits. It's complete nonsense. It is complete nonsense, which is why I don't understand how they manage to get the entire APA to sign off on this freaking bullcrap. I mean, Dr. Freud, where are you? Calling Dr. Freud. Calling Dr. Freud. Anyone? Anyone? Hello, Mustard Tiger. Welcome to the fight. Angry is wrong with them. Well, maybe men have particular skills that women don't generally have, and vice versa. Hence, why they get certain jobs. That is right, Jay Hamilton. Men take pretty much all the jobs where they have to risk their life, die early from accidents or stress, job-related problems, so that they can take care of their beloved wives and children. I don't see a lot of women volunteering to be sewer workers or garbage men or plumbers or deep sea fishermen. All the hardest jobs are almost 100% dominated by men. All the jobs that'll get you killed are almost 100% dominated by men. And it's because we're willing to be violent, take risks, go for that adventure. My friend, was it James? Anyways, one of my friends became one of those you ever see The Deadliest Catch? Those guys get paid, but that is a life-risking job. And one of my friends took off after high school and went and did that for I think 20 years. Survived it, but yeah, I don't think there were any chicks on the boat. I'm waiting for job equality in plumbing, construction, garbage removal, etc. Yeah, you hold your breath on that one. You hold your breath on that one. The argument is that the spectrum of human behavior needs to be mapped, no pun intended, and blown out of proportion. For instance, some men are less masculine in some respects, but highly so in others. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to look like me, you know? You don't have to be muscular and dominating and whatever type A personality to be a man. You can still be adventurous. You can still be risk taking. You can still do yeah. There's and I don't like to use the word spectrum, but yeah, there are many male attributes. Every male doesn't have all of them. I certainly don't have all of them. But you'd be hard pressed to find them. I can't grow a full beard. There you go. That's fun. Tyler Preston, while I am all for supporting transgender rights, however, I'm well aware of the possible danger that it could cause, like how a mother was forcing her son to be a transgender girl. That is pure child abuse. We did that on yesterday's program, Tyler, and I am 100% with you. That is child abuse. Those children should be taken away from those parents. Anyone who is trying to force a false sexuality on their children is abusing them in a particularly egregious way. So it's almost as bad as raping them, honestly. Honestly. I can't grow a full beard either, and I'm 41. I'm 47, dude. All I can do, so I got a little bit down here. I got a full goatee if I grow it out. I got a little tiny bit here and a little tiny bit here. That's me. If I was on Survivor and I lasted the whole month, I would just be like, Fu Manchu. Okay, let's see. Close these out. Oops. I have so much to do today, guys. I should probably close this early, but I'm not going to because I am here for you. This is the best hour of my day. Well, I can't say that. This is the most fruitful hour of my day, I think. I can grow a beard, but I look like a hobo. All right, let's go up to the top and see if anybody has. Oh, Brett for $5 said, Mike, I made a video on why you should watch JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I'd appreciate it if you'd watch it sometime. God bless. How long is it, Brett? Tell me how long it is. And then tag me with it again. I saw it, but I didn't have a chance to watch it yet. You could watch the video I made for a better answer, but it's a very unique show that has the most unique setting and characters I've ever seen. Catholic Rob tells me to go grab my gun. I'm not sure why. It's the Holy Spirit. Eric says, on this cross-examinations, Mike is abducted by burglars. Oh, I'm pretty sure it was the cat. P Money says, well done answer, Mike NWK. Thank you, P Money. Alpha wolves kill others. Dolphins do what? Dolphins rape each other. It's crazy, right? Yeah, they're not nice. Catholic Rob says, I hate those damn Catholics. A self-hating Catholic. Pete Mac says, hail Mike S. Miller. Hail Pete Mac. Apocalypto. What have you missed? You're gonna have to go back and watch it, brother. Rhaegar says, why would they make a Jesus comic at all? That's asking for trouble. They're targeting Christians. They are trying to anger. I don't know. They're I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me in any rational or business state of mind at all that you would set out to piss off 70% of the population of the country where your business is trying to make a living. Are they really? And it's not just going to piss people off for that one book. It's going to piss people off for the entirety of their company. I'm never going to buy another DC book. Never buying another DC book. Unless they do something huge to reverse this. First of all, don't publish it. I know you solicited it. You publish this freaking thing. You're going to piss off so many people. Just don't. Nico says, great content. I was not expecting religious, political, or philosophical discussions when I subscribed. You seem to be a great artist and powerful thinker. Looking forward to future videos and Lone Star. Thank you, Nico. This is episode 51. If you got 50 hours to burn, you can go watch the other ones. Your NPC voice rivals Ethan, says Jay Hamilton. He says, I have a better soy voice than EBS. Well, I do lots of voices. So. First time to hear that voice. Pegasus Meteoric says, whoever wrote this never did anything physical or aggressive. It's a good feeling to let out steam. It feels good. That's right. That's right. You know what? They probably never won anything. They probably got their participation trophies, right? And they got their their little belly rubbed because they showed up to play. They never competed and they never won at anything, and therefore they don't understand what it means to compete, do your best, and win at something. It's a great feeling, and unfortunately, they've tried to rob that from an entire generation of children, and now those children are growing up dyeing their hair green, and are confused about where to put their pee-pee. All right. Hello, everyone. Finally made it to the live stream. I'm driving, but at least I'll get to listen for Kindo. Right on, brother. This is crazy. Chris Energize. All right. Mark C, $5. I am triggered. Every week I witness people taking away my trash. Never do I see a woman. I want equality in sanitation. That's right, man. Let's get some equality in sanitation. Where are the pickets? Where are the pickets? Where are all the women standing out in front of the sanitation workers? Edco down here has this huge lot right off of the 95. Is it the 95? 94. Huge lot. Where are the women picketing Edco? Saying, we want to pick up trash. We want to pick up trash. Equal rights for equal pay. Let me clean up your dirty diapers. Oddly enough, they're not out there in force. You need a soul patch. I can do a soul patch. I refuse. That's why I say hashtag castrate the dolphins, says Rhaegar. Berserker Pride says, they were willing to use Jesus, who 70% of Americans believe in, but they waffled on using the actual Superman and used a fake version instead. That's true. I didn't even think about that. That's right. That's right. No problem using Jesus in a completely sacrilegious and insulting way to every believer in America and around the world. But hey, let's not tarnish Superman, you know. Even though I think Batman versus Superman, Man of Steel, and JLA tarnished him enough. Let's not put him into that situation in a comic book, okay? Tyler says, I find all religion to be dumb personally, but I would never purposefully insult one religious group for petty reasons. I'll just accept the second half and ignore the all religion is dumb thing. I think most religions, even the ones I vehemently disagree with on salvation and works righteousness and all that stuff, most religions do more good than harm. You know, on a societal basis, without a firm agreed upon set of ethics, a society, how does it function? Right? It probably functions like it will not function well. In fact, our own Constitution was written, I think it was it John Adams who said that the Constitution was written for a wholly religious people. It is insufficient for any other. So in order for our Constitution to make sense, you have to be grounded in a faith, in a religion. And when they say religion, back then they meant Christianity. They didn't mean Islam or Buddhism or anything else. They just meant Christianity. Their big thing was the division among all the different sects, the different denominations of Christianity, which in a lot of cases were violent towards one another. But anyways. DCU is about to get bum rushed. I hope they do. Omar is speaking in Arabic, and that means I don't know what you're saying, Omar. So they probably have zero interest in sports. Well, you know, I have zero interest in sports, but that's my dad's fault because he was a nerd. So he never got us into sports, so we had no interest in sports, and therefore my kids have no interest in sports. And I kind of feel like I was cheated and they were cheated, because there is this camaraderie one gets from sports. You know, that's not to say I didn't go out on the lawn and play football with my friends and stuff like that, but I never wanted to join any teams. You know, I never wanted to go out for baseball or soccer or anything like that. My sport was martial arts. And even in that case, you know, it's still fun. It's competition. It's violent. Things boys like, real boys. And even some girls like violence too. So, Berserker Pride, using Jesus won't get you sued. That's true. Challenge accepted. Ray Thulo, well, at least they've got priorities. Lorenzo Sleestak says, interesting discussions today. Yes, if you have any other questions, please hit me with them, and I can wax rhapsodic about it. What's your opinion on that Jesus impersonator dude in the latest PewDiePie video, says Mustard Tiger 5? I have not seen the latest PewDiePie video, and I'm not going to play it now because he swears too much for my channel. Michael Pernesti, everybody is a winner, has ruined younger generations. Getting praise for just showing up made these kids think they deserve to be CEO on their first day. That is correct. That is correct. You got to earn it. You got to earn it. And you got to raise your kids to understand that they got to earn it. You know, nothing is given to you in this life but the opportunity to try. And if you try and you fail, you get another opportunity to try. I have a dream. I have a vision, I believe, of what I want to do with my life. And, you know, drawing a handful of comics is not it. I have a greater, grander vision and dream. And so I move forward trying to do that. And I pray about it. And I do what I can to effort that forward. And I don't know if it will ever come to be. If you guys could pray for me and my vision, that would be awesome, because I'll say it. I'll announce it. My vision that I had 2 years ago is to build a media company that itself forces our media, our culture, back to the right, or back to the center, or from the center to the right. You know, back towards God, essentially. Back towards morality and ethics. Back towards a society where we know that men are valued as men. Women are valued as women. And we're not trying to confuse the two and conflate the two and ruin countless lives in the process. And so that has been my vision for the last 2 years. And if you guys could just pray for me for the next 24 hours, if you could write it down, I'm asking you to legitimately do this for me for the next 24 hours. If you could write down that, pray for Mike's vision, and just every time you see it, just throw a little prayer up and just help this to become reality. All things are possible with God. People have laughed at me. I asked one of my pastors at church to pray for this vision, and he laughed at me. And then he felt really bad about it for the next week, and he came to talk to me the next week, and he's like, I just don't do that. It's just so weird. It's not my personality. I don't think I would do that. I'm like, you did. Like, I don't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm like, it's all right. It is a ridiculous vision that only through the power of God could it ever happen. So if it is to happen, then it must be God's will. And If it is God's will, then I ask you guys to pray for it so that it will come to pass. If you would, please. Kathy Stark says, was chatting with a coworker in Slovakia earlier, and they are facing many of these same issues. Sad that not just our country, but the world's soul is at stake. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty bad in Europe. Well, not all of Europe. I think like in countries like, well, at least parts of Spain. I know Spain is getting pretty socialized. But I know in Italy and Greece, you know, men are still men, you know? They cannot overturn the machismo. Tyler Preston, I was given those participation trophies as a child when I was signed up for baseball and basketball. I hated those things ever since then. It made me feel terrible because I never wanted to play them. Right? Right? You want to play because you want to compete. You want to measure yourself against your peers and have fun. You're not just there to be a cog in a machine. Kick, ball, miss, okay, win, okay. There is no winning. There is no losing. Everyone gets trophy. No, man, you want to pit yourself against each other. You want to encourage those who are weaker, and you want to revel with those who are stronger, and you want to just build this sense of teamwork and camaraderie and competition and friendly competition, and they just want to tear it all down and take it all away because they hate life. Okay, let's see. Mark C for $5 so DC is going to release The Second Coming, but won't release old Shazam Captain Marvel stories due to issues of racism. Huh. It's a fair point, isn't it? Yeah. We will never see old Steamboat gracing the covers of Shazam again. Man, what is up with that? Jay Hamilton says, religion is dumb. Why? Because it's man-made and not of God. God has a church, a congregation, not religion. Yeah, that is true. Religion is man's attempt to get to or define God. Christianity isn't about religion. Christianity is about relationship. It's about loving God. It's not about going to church even. I mean, going to church is a part of the entire thing, but it's not. If your religious experience is going to church, that's just religion. You know, it's like, oh, it's Sunday, I gotta get up and I can't watch football. I gotta go to church and listen to some dude, and then I gotta go to lunch with my family and blah blah blah. And it's just like an obligation. That's not religion. That's not, no. Church is supposed to be about a time of fellowship with other believers, a time of learning. But it is not what faith is about. Faith is between you and God. Faith is, and Christianity, and this is what Christ teaches, the Bible, you know, you don't need to go to church to be saved. You need to go to Jesus to be saved. And Jesus came down to earth and sacrificed himself to pay for your sins. That is God coming to you and saying, will you let me into your life? That is not man trying to define and control and create what they think of as God, right? It's a totally opposite transaction. One is, I'm going to work my way up this ladder to heaven. There's no ladder long enough, brother. One is God reaching down from heaven and saying, come with me. Free gift. It's free. Now, once you are indwelt with that spirit and with God, then from that relationship outpours love outpours compassion, outpours charity, you know, and morality and ethic. Well, ethics is cultural, but if you can understand the difference, then I will agree that religions, I'm not going to say they're stupid, because they still do have their cultural appropriate, you know, maintenance of societal peace and norms and whatnot, except for certain ones who run around chopping the heads off of little Christian children and burning them in cages and things like that. This is no bueno. Rhaegar says, it better not be Allahu Akbar. I don't see any Allahs in there, unless I'm misreading it. Omar, it's Egyptian. Egyptian? Well, what are you saying, man? I don't read Egyptian. I have zero interest in sports. Yeah, me too. Cool, Omar. It's true about sports. Sports can be beneficial in helping to build character. It is. I know. Like I said, I wish I was more interested. The only sport I ever really enjoyed watching was hockey. I always sucked at basketball. I'd play with my friends here and there, but I sucked at it. Maybe it's because I'm short. I like to play baseball. I lived growing up, I lived across the street from my elementary school, and so we had this huge grass area right in front of my house, and we would play, you know, whatever with all the neighborhood kids. We'd just get out there and we'd play all the time. So, like, fun neighborhood sports type stuff I would do, but yeah, I had no interest in joining a football team or anything. Maybe because I was small. My mom actually put me in school a year early, and I'm short enough as it is. Then she puts me in school a year early, so I was always the youngest and shortest person in every class I was ever in. And maybe that might have had something to do with my disinterest in sports, because my brother, he was in soccer, and he was in was it t-ball or softball, one of those balls as a kid. And like, he got way more into skating than I ever did. He could have been a pro. But anyways, we got about 8 minutes left. Let's see. I did karate for 18 years. Any specific, or you mean actual Japanese karate? Because, you know, like a lot of people in America say karate, and they mean like taekwondo or something. Omar, you can speaking Arabic. No, I can't speak Arabic, but I recognize what the Allah. I recognize Allah from something else. My family taught me that sports and the arts were dumb and childish and not careers, so now I work at a boring desk job. Yeah, my dad tried to get me to focus on something other than art, but sorry, now I do this for a living. That is page 12, by the way, of Lone Star, the second book. I'm not saying, Tyler Preston says, I'm not saying that religion has no purpose at all. I'm just speaking my mind that I just find them to be silly, but then anything else can be called silly. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to be repeating myself, so let's just move on. I advanced humanity's understanding of the science. I'm happy with that, says Ashton. All right. Karate is the only sport I actually wanted to take. Yeah, I took Taekwondo growing up. Almost got my black belt, but quit right before black belt training. And then later in life, I took some Wing Chun. And then later after that, I took Wushu with Shaowen Yu up in Portland. That was really fun, man. Wushu is great. Which it turns out is like the same things that Wushu and Wing Chun, or what Ray Park is proficient in, has learned. And so that's actually how we got to be friends, because I sat down and we started talking about that, and that was it. Cool. I want in on it. Josh Graydon, does it involve me? What are you talking about? No. I don't know what you're talking about. Secularists are some of the most religious people you will meet, despite what they think. I'm not going to dig into that unless you have more specifics, Rhaegar. Kathy Stark, my family is Slovak. Do you do a lot of stuffed cabbage and eat vegetable soup? Vegetable beef. Okay, all right. Sure, I will pray. Thank you for the prayers. Are you no Windows 95? Omar, where are you from? Are you from Egypt? Like using some old Windows 95 computer? Church isn't a building either. That is correct. Church is not a building. Church is the body of believers around the world. That is literally what the church is. A church can be a building. Is there anyone Christian? Yeah, quite a few of us are Christian. I'm a Christian. Wouldn't you like to be a Christian too? Be a Christian. Ooh, but kind of scary to be a Christian in Egypt, isn't it? You are okay. Much left to be revealed. You can't eat. The church is comprised of fallen people. They are broke just like all of us. It is not perfect and shouldn't be expected to be. Yeah, my pastor has this funny thing whenever someone tells him that he doesn't want to go to church because it's full of hypocrites. He goes, yeah, there's plenty of room for one more. Because everybody's a hypocrite. Nobody on earth lives up to their own standards. It's literally impossible. So you set a standard, you preach a standard, and you fail at that standard. You're a hypocrite. I'm a hypocrite. You're a hypocrite. Wouldn't you like to be a hypocrite too? Good, because you are. So deal with it and try not to be. That's a good sign. No. Esports are not sports. Sorry, Rhaegar. Catholic Rob, did you spend your youth in San Diego or Hawaii? I lived in Hawaii until I was about 5. Then I moved to San Diego until I was about 7. Then I moved to San Jose, and I grew up in San Jose. And then I moved back to San Diego when I was in my 20s. You loved soccer. That's great. You have done well. Rhaegar says, give me a desk job any day. If I did manual labor, I'd be super depressed. I could do it, but I'd be very unhappy. I don't know. There's something fulfilling about manual labor. I mean, even doing the dishes. People see it as menial tasks. But there's something, you set out, you do a thing, you're not even necessarily thinking about it. You do your best job, and you can spend that time in prayer, or you can spend that time listening to an audiobook, or you can say whatever. Those kind of tasks where you're not requiring yourself to think, but you're just doing something, right? Washing a dish, digging a ditch, raking some leaves, whatever it is. It frees your mind up to learn or to grow or to pray or all of the above. So redeem the time. If you're just doing it and like listening to music, I could see that sort of being a way to piss away your life, I guess. Although if you're building something, that's still manual labor, and that's that feels very, you know, that's achievement oriented. Like if you're a carpenter or something, you're building a house, it's like spending 3-6 months on a house and you build it. That's manual labor, right? But that's like, and then you step away from it. You're like, I built this house. But yeah, otherwise, redeem the time, man. Grab a set of headphones, download a book, listen to Mike's podcast. Whatever it is, whatever it is. Oh, speaking of Lone Star, says Guy from Red Bank, I just bought your comic book yesterday. Thank you, Guy from Red Bank. I appreciate it very much. He also says, I'm a Christian. I used to be an agnostic atheist back then. I, too, Guy from Red Bank, was raised agnostic in my early 20s is when I found Christ. No, I'm a Christian now, Catholic Rob. Oh, wait, you want me to go check those out? I will. What are you looking at? Catholic Rob is posting, go to the Discovery Institute and Reasons to Believe. Oh, yeah, good stuff, good stuff. As an IT tech, I'm just a glorified Google slave that looks up answers for other people. I'd rather be productive somehow. I can understand that. I can understand that. And weird as it is to end this, and you know what? I said I'd give you an extra minute. So you guys, give me one more good question. I will ramble that off. And then I got to wrap this up. It has been an hour. I got so much to do today. I have a meeting tomorrow I have to prepare for, which you guys need to pray for me about. So I probably won't be doing cross-examinations tomorrow unless it's later in the evening, or unless there's some way I can do it from the location I am going to be meeting. So Michael Pernesti says, my greatest sense of accomplishment was when I finished building my 8,000-piece Lego Millennium Falcon. There you go. I'll pray for you, dude. So what am I expecting in Lone Star? You're expecting a great read with some great art, hopefully. Hopefully. I don't want to brag about my own art or my own writing, so maybe I shouldn't say anything at all. Just go check out some of the reviews. There's several reviews online. If you want to Google those on YouTube, you can get other people's opinions other than my own. It's hard for me to opine because it's mine. But Pronesti, yeah, that's what I think. Most like model builders, they're men. Most model builders are men, and that's another achievement-oriented thing. You don't put the model together, you know, and then stop halfway through. That just feels like crap. You put the model together so that you can achieve that. You can start from A to B. You can put 8,000 pieces of something together and then stand back and look at it and say, I did that. That's achievement, right? Women can create life. So they do win. But other than that, you know, men are, or at least successful men, are achievement and goal-oriented people. So with that being said, if you're a man, be a man. The APA may hate you, but I love you. And if you're a woman, be a woman, because I'm not going to say I love all of you. I love you platonically. I love my wife specifically. All right, guys. Thanks for being here. Love you guys all, one and all, male and female, and everything in between. I hope you figure it out sometime. Be good to each other, and God bless. See you later.